Yes! Hello, my beautiful friends. It is an amazing day. Welcome back. We've got a heck of a stream planned ahead today. There is a lot that just came out, breaking out of multiple jurisdictions, including Donald Trump facing new criminal charges. Oh my goodness. We're going to go through this one. It looks like it's come out of Ohio. And get this, inside of this citizen criminal complaint that was drafted by the Haitians, they're very unhappy about some of Trump's comments about cats and dogs. And so what they've done under Ohio law, apparently that allows them to criminally charge somebody. And so they've sent this into the court. You can see it's in Clark County Municipal Court, so it's a local city court. And they're asking a judge to arrest Donald Trump and J.D. Vance for the following criminal charges. Aggravated menacing, telecommunications harassment, complicity, making false alarms, and so on and so forth. And they want arrest warrants, you can see here, issued for Trump and Vance's arrests. And when we zoom in on this, they're very upset about some of the social media posts. And so we're going to read through this complaint and affidavit. It's from the Haitian Bridge Alliance, and it's out in Ohio. And so we'll read through it. We'll learn who they are. But let me show you what they're very upset about. Here it comes. Get ready for it. You're going to be shocked. You might want to cover the screen. All right, it's coming soon. Hold on. Hold on. Wait for it. Ah, there it is. I know. I try not to do this to you out there, but it's true. Criminal cat memes in Ohio. And so we'll go through it. We'll read through the whole thing. Now, you know, it's kind of it's a joke, obviously. I mean, it's not a joke. They filed, this is a real lawsuit. It's a real criminal complaint, real criminal charges. And all it's going to take for this to actually have some teeth to it, well, is a judge to accept it and do something with it. So we'll talk about it. But you can see it's a big fat complaint. They're saying that there should be criminal charges brought. They're actually saying when you go into it that the judge doesn't have any authority to even send this over to a prosecutor, so that a prosecutor can't just get rid of this thing. So it's up to the judge. So we'll read through it and take a look at what's inside. That's a big one on the day. Another big one that dropped is Judge Chutkan. Man, this one's out of the January 6th case, the DC Court, District of Columbia. And yesterday on the show, if you missed it, we spent a lot of time talking about the 180-page fake special counsel because Jack Smith is illegitimate. He's drafting a 180-page pseudo-Special counsel report. Don't even know what it is. It's kind of probably Jack's raging screed. I am Jack's Trump dementia speaking out. So he's going to file 180 pages of it. Chutkan said he's allowed to do it. As we suspected yesterday, we said she's going to grant this, watch. And she did. I didn't think it was going to come so quickly, but she turned around very quickly, almost like she didn't even read Trump's reply brief and just said, yeah, Jack, whatever you want. So we'll read through this. It's pretty, well, it's very Chutkan-y, as you would expect. It's very Judge Chutkan. So we'll see what she says about it. Then we're going to turn our attention back over to the Routh saga, the assassin saga, Trump's #2 assassin, because there was some activity afoot today. I'll show you that he is not getting out of custody. So the judge gave us some new details, came out, wrote his detention order, and in the detention order gave us a bunch of reasons as to why he's staying in custody. Went through the weight of the evidence, the nature and the circumstances. And so we're going to get some more details from the judge's perspective on this second assassin and zoom in on what the courts have found. We also yesterday had a little bit of a difficult time yesterday locating the tape, the piece of tape, but then we discovered after the fact that apparently it's all of this tape. Okay, so it's like this guy was just electrical taping the heck out of the thing, and so we had a lot of follow-up questions about that, obviously. So we'll come back to that. We had some more updates on this because there was an exhibit in a witness list, and apparently Routh is saying that he's a super citizen, man. He was in this article where a police organization for Routh actually gave him honors as a super citizen, as you can see here. So we'll zoom in on this. They sent that into the courts saying, let him out of custody, okay? He's not a bad dude. He's a super citizen. What's your problem? So we'll see what that says. And then also his son got arrested because he had way too many illegal PDF files on his computer. And he's the son of the Ukrainian assassin. And that's what he looks like. He's been arrested for very bad images. There are some coincidences here. You know who else got arrested for having bad images after a shooting? The Las Vegas shooter's brother. Very interesting coincidence. But we'll take a look at the arrest warrant that was out for Oran Alexander Routh for being in possession of some very disgusting stuff. And we'll also look at the criminal complaint that was filed against him. This one's coming out of North Carolina, which is where we saw Ryan, the father, in the first place. So we'll go through all that. We'll take a look at the docket. We'll see what's coming up next in the son's case and in the father's case. And so as you can see, my friends, we've got a lot to get to today. I'm very grateful that you're here and with us. Thanks for joining us back here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking this video and following along. We also, before we get into all of the business of the day, we've got to talk about getting prepared. You know what I'm talking about, because it's time, my friends. The world is getting more unpredictable by the day. We've got political insanity, rumors of civil war, unstable stock markets, and now the looming threat of a global health emergency. And did you know there's a bird flu summit coming up in October, eerily reminiscent of Event 201, the event that foreshadowed the COVID situation? And get this, the first topic on the agenda is mass fatality management planning. And so if that doesn't send chills down your spine, well, I don't know what will. But here's the good news. You don't have to be scared if you're prepared. The Wellness Company created the medical emergency kit, and every home in America should have at least one of these. They're packed with life-saving meds like ivermectin, amoxicillin, even Z-Pak, all backed by experts like Dr. Peter McCullough. And so imagine this. No more frantic searches for a doctor. No more emergency waiting rooms. Just a few clicks. This kit is delivered right to your front door. And we know that in times like these, having your medical emergency kit is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. And so protect your family now. Head over to twc.health/Robert down in the description below. Use code Robert. You'll save $30 at checkout. Don't wait until it's too late. Take control now. Get protected for whatever comes next. twc.health/Robert. Use code Robert. You'll save $30 and you'll get free shipping. Link is down in the description below. And we appreciate the Wellness Company, and thanks for supporting the sponsors of the show today. Now, let's get into business, because we have new criminal charges. President Trump and J.D. Vance have been charged with new crimes, this time from the Haitians. The Haitian Bridge Alliance, in conjunction with a law firm, have submitted criminal charges utilizing an Ohio code that lets citizens, not prosecutors, bring the case. And so we'll read through this. You'll notice that they have some nice images, some nice pictures inside. Very unhappy about the Trump comments and the J.D. Vance comments related to what's happening there in Ohio with the Haitians. But let's zoom in on this. You can see that they say that this criminal complaint is going to be charging Trump and Vance with these crimes: complicity, telecommunications harassment, aggravated menacing, telecommunications harassment, complicity, making false alarms, disrupting public services, and they're demanding that arrest warrants be issued for Trump and J.D. Vance's arrest. And what they're saying here is that this affidavit has been submitted to this court. This is the Clark County Municipal Court, so it's a city court. It's not a county court. It's not a federal court. It's not a state level court. It's a city municipal court. So what we have is the lawyers who are filing this, and I'll show you who they are. They say that under the statute, Ohio gives them the power to send this to a judge, okay? It goes to the judge. This does not go to the prosecutor's office. So if this judge decides to arrest them, issue an arrest warrant because there's probable cause here, they can do it, apparently, is what they're arguing in this complaint. They say that this particular statute here authorizes private citizens to file criminal charges, and it requires the court to do one of two things. One, issue an arrest warrant or refer the matter to the prosecuting attorney for an investigation. Now, that seemingly is a little bit opposite. There are some contradictions, it seems here. It says that this court can review this and the prosecutor's office does not review this, right? So not the prosecutor's office. But then it seems like this law firm is saying, if you connect this down here, that the court can do either one of the following: either issue an arrest warrant like we want, or refer it. So I'm not really sure where the argument's going to end up, but let's see. Says this law allows private citizens to file an affidavit charging criminal offenses, citing this area of the law, which means a judge of a court of record can do this. A private citizen having knowledge shall do this. Now, when the affidavit charges a felony, as here, the court then must either issue a warrant or refer the matter to an attorney, an actual real prosecutor for an investigation. So this court only has two options: issue a warrant or refer the matter to a prosecuting attorney, which I think this attorney just said you really can't do that. The affidavit, which is properly submitted to a judge of this court for review and not the prosecutor's office. So the judge can review it, but I guess she's not sending it to the prosecutor's office, but eventually they can. But she says, look, you don't need to give this to a prosecutor, okay? We've already made our case right here. Investigation into Trump is not needed. Everyone can see this. The prosecuting attorney knows that Trump and J.D. Vance have harmed the Haitians. And so they should just find probable cause. Probable cause has already been determined by this court, having already been determined. So if they do determine there is probable cause, then the prosecutor may decide whether they stand for the rule of law, whether they're going to prosecute this or not. So if the judge says there's probable cause, there's enough evidence of a crime here, then it's going to go over to the attorney, and the attorney, the prosecutor, can decide what they're going to do with this. And then they're basically challenging the prosecutor to do this, right? Are you going to file? Are you going to do anything here or not? They say we've met probable cause. Okay, you may issue an arrest warrant because we've already found probable cause. It's a low standard, they say. And here, the evidence includes video recorded admissions from Trump and Vance themselves, and statements from Governor Mike DeWine, Springfield mayor, about the falsehood of their statements about the dogs and cats. And so there is impact on this Haitian community. They violated statutes because of the harmful lies repeatedly spewed by Trump. This is not a high bar. They say it's probable cause. All it is a reasonable belief, which is even less stringent than preponderance of the evidence. And we've met it here. There's been a devastating effect, and the prosecutors in Springfield should have filed charges by now. Trump and Vance have knowingly spread false and dangerous narratives saying that the Haitian community is criminally killing and eating neighbors' dogs and cats. I don't know, are they? I'll tell you, I wasn't really sure if they were or not, but they're so ridiculous in this lawsuit. Now, it's almost like, "Methink the lady doth protesteth too much." You know? Well, I don't know. I wasn't really worried about the dogs and cats all that much, but now since you're freaking out about it and trying to criminally charge somebody, violating the First Amendment, due process, all sorts of things, now I have questions about it, but I don't know, maybe that's the opposite effect of what they wanted. Now, the accused Springfield Haitians, they accuse them of bearing deadly disease. They repeated such lies during a presidential debate, at campaign rallies, and during interviews. And this has been a direct impact on Ohio. During the last 2 weeks, Springfield has received 33 bomb threats. And by the way, pretty sure those bomb threats were coming from foreign countries, not Trump or anybody related to Trump. So as we go through this dumb criminal complaint, indictment, whatever you want to call it, made up complaint, we're asking ourselves about causation, right? Did Trump call in the bomb threats? I don't think so. Many people and many public institutions have been forced to evacuate. Okay, so go prosecute the people who called the bomb threats in. Probably the CIA, as detailed in the attached and incorporated affidavit. They say that Trump and Vance disrupted public service because they caused widespread bomb and other threats to cause massive disruptions. All right, so Trump's free speech caused somebody else to call in a bomb threat, so Trump should be criminally prosecuted for that. Trump made false alarms by knowingly causing alarm by continuing to repeat lies. See what's happening here? Committed telecommunications harassment by spreading claims that they knew to be false. Aggravated menacing by making intimidating statements to these people to harass the recipients. Trump wasn't talking to any specific Haitians. He was talking about public issues. The other thing that we're going to ask about as we go through this, keep your eye on intentionality and this little thing called specific intent and whether Trump actually intended. Right? Many crimes require specific intent to do the thing. Did Trump intend specifically to abuse certain people, or was he just commenting generally about topics? The law requires more strict intent, that you intended to actually do the thing that caused the harm. Not that you talked in vague generalities and then somebody did some other thing sometime. Committed aggravated menacing by causing others to believe that members in Springfield would cause serious physical harm to the properties of others and violated this other complicity statute. Like those who falsely shout fire in a crowded theater, it's not the same. Trump and Vance do not color within the first lines of the First Amendment. They commit criminal acts. Yelling fire in a crowded theater causes real imminent physical injury, right? It's imminent, lawless incitement to violence or harm. It's happening right now. You're going to fire and people are going to run. People are going to get injured. It's an imminent thing. And it has no utility in the concept of free speech at all, unless there is actually a fire. So that's not what's happening here. But these guys are running for public office and they're talking about Haitian immigration, which is clearly a problem in the United States. Ask the people in Springfield. Now, regarding the 2014 killing of Tamir Rice, the Cleveland Municipal Court found probable cause to support criminal charges, right? So another court has done this. Cleveland. Affidavits from another jurisdiction. A copy of this order is here. So now you can do this. And so thus the Haitian Bridge Alliance, right? Other people in Ohio and Cleveland, they've done this. They've just filed affidavits and charged people with crimes. So you can do it here. Thus the Haitian Bridge Alliance and Guerline Joseph, they now charge the Haitian Bridge Alliance. Okay, so some organization dedicated to Haitians and this guy, or Guerline Joseph, are now going to charge as private citizens President Trump and J.D. Vance of crimes against the people of Ohio. They support their criminal charges with the affidavit we'll look at. Now, they asked this court to treat Trump and Vance the same way they would be treated for any other crimes and issue warrants for their arrest. This should be done before Trump fulfills his threat to visit Springfield. He's a free citizen. He's got a presumption of innocence, even if you are trying to LARP, live action role play, as fake prosecutors. Subodh, Chandra, Alexandra LaVille, Courtney Bowe, and Ethan Dawson from the Chandra Law Firm. Despite Mayor Rob's request that he not do so, they want Trump to be arrested upon arrival for his criminal acts of speaking, of talking, signed by these not prosecutors. Okay, these are just regular, I would say, lawyers. They're from the Chandra Law Firm. And if you go to the Chandra Law Firm, you can see that they exist. And let's see if I have more on this. I have their About page. Let's pull this up so we can see who we're talking about here. Chandra Law. They do high-stakes civil rights. They advocate serving people throughout Ohio and across the nation. Here's the About Us page. And so these are the individuals here. And you can see that at the Chandra Law Firm, we view ourselves as karmic facilitators. Oh, that's nice. They got a trademark on that, too. Karmic facilitators. All right. Prosecuting people on behalf of Haitians, prosecuting the President of the United States on behalf of the Haitians. Now, Laura Loomer was able to dig into this. Are these guys a little bit biased, do you think? Do you think that they may have some anti-Trump tendencies in their past? Well, maybe. Here's what Laura Loomer said. Here's an exclusive that Kamala visited the home of the lawyer. This guy, Subodh Chandra. Oh, look, he's here. He's even on X. And look at this. Look at his profile picture. Is that him? Maybe that's him. Joined September 2011. Certainly looks like it might be him. And he's reposting a bunch of other stuff. He's reposting this. Yeah, they filed criminal charges. Okay. So the guy who's prosecuting Trump on behalf of Haitians is in a photograph with Kamala Harris. Presumably that's real, if this is his real account. And it certainly looks pretty real. It's back in 2011. He's been on here for a while. It's the same karmic facilitator, former federal prosecutor, and he's charging Trump with crimes, and he's on X. Isn't that just incredible? So if you go back to Laura Loomer, she says the lawyer hired by the Haitian Bridge who filed criminal charges is friends with Kamala, hosted her at his house, even took some screenshots of this. Let's see. here is this one. So screenshots of that. She's reporting that's him. And yeah, Subodh Chandra says, please join me again in supporting the next president of the United States. Contribute here on Act Blue. Posted that back in September, scrolling through his timeline. Says, when Kamala met my mom, Shanta, at our home a few years ago, Kamala immediately addressed her as auntie. That's when I knew she was the real deal. This incidentally made Doug Emhoff my brother-in-law and Mina Harris my niece. All right. Filing criminal charges. They have nothing else they can do other than just prosecute Trump. Now, previously as a federal prosecutor, Chandra successfully prosecuted healthcare fraud and corruption, winning a commendation from Director Mueller for demonstrated excellence, as well as from special agent in charge of the FBI's field office. Chandra also prosecuted tax, bank fraud, and other economic crimes. All right, so you see how this works. They're all just TDS anti-Trumpers through and through. And so when we go back into, that is the initial complaint. But let's see what they're so upset about here. So this is the affidavit now of Guerline Joseph. He says, I'm the co-founder, Guerline is, of the Haitian Bridge Alliance. And we're dedicated at the Haitian Bridge Alliance to focus on Black people, in particular the Haitian community and the LGBTQIA plus expialidocious group of individuals and survivors of torture and other human rights abuses. Now, we focus on issues unique to Black migrants. We collaborate and we care about Black people. Haitian Bridge Alliance launched a pilot program where they invaded Ohio with a bunch of Haitian immigrants that they relocated to work in Springfield. And they're legally employed there. Now, since Trump and Vance came in, there's been a backlash. Oh, no. Now, the purpose of this affidavit is to arrest Trump and Vance. And we do not have to guess at what they've done. They spread and amplified the debunked claim that the Haitians are eating cats and dogs and wildlife like geese. Now, we don't have to guess at the motivation. So they're saying we don't even have to look at intent, which is kind of like a cop-out. It's like you kind of do. You kind of need to know if there was, what's the mens rea, what's the guilty component, the guilty mind component of the crime. But you have to prove that, I guess. You have to prove intent. Now, Vance has publicly admitted that he and Trump, quote, have to create stories for media attention. So they're going to say that was the lie. And those lies have had devastating results. 33 bomb threats that have come from overseas, as we now know. They've harmed the Springfield community. Now, all the Haitian immigrants have said that, no, everybody is very welcoming and nice in Springfield. But now the Haitians are mad. Now the citizens are mad at the Haitians. So it used to be like hunky-dory. Everybody loved the Haitians. Now everybody hates the Haitians because of Trump. One Haitian man said that a white man drove a car and yelled, Trump is coming for you. What else? Did he have a noose and say that this is MAGA country too? Is that also true? He was frightened and he didn't know what to do. Several of the Haitian workers that we support have complained that their colleagues at work repeatedly asked them whether they're cat eaters. Hey, what are you having for lunch? It's not Figaro again, is it? They feel uncomfortable and unsafe at work because with their language difficulties and not being fluent in English, they can't judge how their colleagues feel. This is going to be a big sob story about the Haitians. Some have reported feeling so scared that they don't like going to work because they don't know what could happen to them. Yeah, well, are things better in Haiti? Do they want to go back there? Now, Ohio law provides courts with avenue to hold Trump and Vance accountable for their illegal actions. And so we want them to be charged. They're spreading vicious rumors about geese and them chopping their heads off. And there's been lockdown hospitals. And despite multiple state officials publicly stating there's no truth to their claims, they're still saying that they're eating the animals. Now, the city of Springfield has 60,000 people in it, and 15,000 Haitians have come right in there. So 1/4 of the city is now Haitian. It's wild. And it's like our own politicians are doing this to us. In early August, users on a far-right social media platform called Gab, great platform, check it out, began a rumor that Haitian immigrants in Springfield were eating local pets. They found the original source of this. Briori is the user. They said that once the Haitians come into a town, animals start to disappear. And here on X, oh no, End Wokeness. Shout out to our friend End Wokeness, who you should be following. End Wokeness is in this criminal complaint. End Wokeness is an accessory to murder, or whatever they're charging here. You can see here on September 6, 2024, End Wokeness posted a screenshot of a Haitian alleging that they were seen eating and butchering a cat. And then Elon took over the company. Now, X is widely reputed to be the best platform ever. They call it a right-wing white supremacist disinformation source. Okay. So here's the photo that End Wokeness posted. Springfield is a small town in Ohio. 4 years ago, they had 60,000 residents. Under Harrison Biden, now 20,000 Haitian immigrants were shipped into the town. Now, ducks and pets are disappearing. Posted this picture of some dude walking down the street with a dead geese. And here's a warning from Springfield, Ohio Crimes. Warning to all about our beloved pets and those around us. My neighbor informed me that her daughter's friend had lost her cat. She checked pages, kennels, asked around, etc. One day she came home from work. As soon as she stepped out of her car, she looked towards her neighbor's house where Haitians live and saw a cat hanging from a branch like you do for a deer with butchering. And they were carving it up to eat. Now, I've been told that they are doing this to dogs. They've been doing it at Snyder Park with the ducks and geese. And I was told that last bit by the rangers and police. So please keep a close eye on these animals. And Wokeness posts this. And little does End Wokeness know, but now there's thousands of dead Haitians in Ohio because of this post. Murdered. Immediately. On the September 6th post further alleged that Haitians in Springfield were similarly butchering and eating cats and dogs. And it was also accompanied by a photo of a random black man carrying what looks like a dead goose. Yeah. Then the post got over 4.9 million views. It was a banger. Then on September 8th, white extremist commenter Charlie Kirk, yeah, you know him, the Nazi, he posted on his X account, and he also posted the same thing. He says, residents of Springfield, Ohio are reporting that Haitians are eating their family pets. Looks like Breitbart posted it too, saying that liberals will soon be lecturing Americans on why they need to be sensitive to Haitian culture and accept this as the new normal. Those idiots, says Charlie, deserve to be condemned and mocked mercilessly. Save our pets, secure our borders. Great post. Doesn't sound like a Nazi at all. Sounds like a very intelligent young man with a lot of astute observations. Now, along with the two screenshots, they were unhappy with this. That also got 4 million views, another banger. Then on Facebook, someone else posted another banger. And this woman, a resident named Erica Lee, the original post, she said, well, no, I have no firsthand knowledge about any cats being eaten. And then they say that she never meant to spark false rumors. Okay, so the woman who made that original post is backtracking. Now, the picture of the post was of a man removing 2 dead geese from Charlie's photos. The photo originated from a July Reddit post, and there's no evidence in the photo that the man depicted is an immigrant, is Haitian, or was even going to eat the geese. So you don't know what he was even doing with that dead goose that he was walking down the street with. Then on September 9th, J.D. Vance, he amplified the claims. J.D. said, months ago, I raised the issue of Haitian illegal immigrants causing chaos all over Springfield. And now people are eating pets? He posted this. Where's our borders are? The hell's Kamala Harris at? He posted again. He says, why is Kamala giving amnesty to thousands of Haitian migrants? That got 15 million views. JD said, Trump makes people I care about afraid. Immigrants, Muslims, etc. This was on October 9th. This looks like an old post. Yeah, this is a 2016 post. They go dig that up. So, okay, now then the big one comes. Oh, gosh. In the aftermath of X's post, they held a press conference where Springfield Mayor, he said, we wish to clarify that we've not been able to verify any credible reports or specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals. The news story regarding a cat being killed did not originate in Springfield. It involved a Kent woman who was arrested for animal cruelty last month. But then they posted these pictures. You can see more Haitians were dead as a result of this one. 33,000 likes is the equivalent of 33,000 dead Haitians. I hope you're happy, President Trump. On the evening of September 10th, Trump participated in the rigged ABC presidential debate. Before the debate, Trump shared AI-generated images on True Social murdering immigrants, depicting him on a plane full of cats and ducks. It's a great image. Cats in military-style apparel wearing MAGA hats and carrying firearms. They're great. Those cats are awesome. You wouldn't play around with those cats, baby. We'd have our border secured in no time. Release them at the border. And look at these animals. Look how Trump is with these cats. Isn't it a beautiful image? So during the debate, David Muir made up a lie and fact-checked Trump and said there have been no credible reports of specific claims. Everybody else saw police reports and other things that are clearly credible because the police took the call and wrote it down. So here's the dumb exchange where Muir was saying the things, and then Trump said, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, eat the cats, eat the cats, eat the cats, eat the cats. And then everyone flipped out, a meme was made, and more Haitians died immediately. Shortly after 1 a.m. on September 11th, Trump made 3 posts in quick succession to his True Social account. He also posted breaking. An Ohio woman has allegedly killed and eaten a cat in front of shocked neighbors. and then also screenshots of Clark County Communications Center and their call detail report that said 2 males, 2 females, all Haitians, 4 geese were stolen. Reporting party said that they could tell that they were Haitian because he was within earshot and he could see them speaking Haitian Creole. A link to a September 10th news article published on the extremist website, The Federalist. They're extremists too. Oh, maybe they should be indicted as co-conspirators. This is just great. So they got all Trump's posts here. Now, later that day, Springfield manager said, it's disappointing that you guys keep saying we're eating cats here. Okay, we're not. Governor Mike DeWine said, well, I think we should take the word of the city manager. We found no credible evidence of all the Haitians eating the pets. Then they closed City Hall. City Hall was closed. Now, due to a bomb threat, I think that came from overseas is what the latest stories tell us. City of Springfield received a bomb threat. As a precautionary measure, the building is closed. We're alerted to this. It's all Trump's fault, I guess. Trump did this. More murder happening. Then the mayor reported about the city's conclusion. Says there was enough negative language towards immigrants that there was a bomb threat. Okay, so now they're trying to turn this like into something that matters. They're going to turn this into... So Trump's comments were just a stupid meme and a great song. Then now it's like causing real world harm, like bomb threats and closing city councils. Maybe they'll indict him again, like this case. Later that day, Governor DeWine said, it's just a crazy internet rumor. Leave it alone. Recordings of 911 calls even show residents saying that they're talking about geese and they're in the park. Trump also said that they said, my dog's been taken. My dog's been stolen. Additional bomb threats. Okay, they're just going through the litany. On September 15th, J.D. Vance was on an interview. Haitians. In the same interview, Vance said, well, if I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering, that's what I'm going to do, Dana. And they're saying, right, that caught a lot of attention. Wait, J.D. Vance, you're creating stories? And so what they're saying is that they knew that these comments were false from the start. Saying that there was no verifiable evidence or reports to show this was true and that these claims were baseless. And here's the exchange. On September 15th, Mayor Rob Rue was also interviewing. So these people, I guess, were just watching, these lawyers just watching cable for like, I don't know, every minute. Trump has repeatedly said that he would carry out mass deportations of the Haitians, despite their legal status. Actually, he's modified that pretty aggressively. He's only talking about criminals now, as we suspected would be the modification once the primaries were over. Trump has a history of false and dangerous claims, saying they probably have AIDS. I guess that's a quote from something they pulled out of somewhere without a source on that one. Interesting. A lot of sources on all the other ones, not on that one. Where's the hyperlink on that one? Vance has similarly threatened the safety and reputation Trump was asked why he continues to spread false stories, but he didn't care. He failed to call for an end to the threats, right? It's like a January 6th argument. He failed to respond. He failed to get out there and tell him to stop. So therefore, he's criminally liable, as though that's a thing. Now, during a rally, Vance denied responsibility for this. Governor DeWine made some statements. Man, this is really long. So therefore, as detailed, these are the crimes. At every term, they were told by fact checkers that this is not true. And this does not excuse their criminal conduct. They orchestrated a campaign of lies. They said that the Haitians carry HIV. People violate this when they conspire with another to commit an offense or causes someone else to commit an offense. So they say Trump knew the power of his words. Trump was causing other people and Vance to go commit these crimes. Trump's statements caused a multitude of his supporters, I guess that's us, to talk about it, to repeat, disseminate the claims. Maybe we should be charged too. Co-conspirators here. Oh, Vance too knew the power of his words. They solicited and they procured others to commit offenses. Really? They did that? Did they procured someone to call in a bomb threat? Are you guys nuts? Is this real? Vance's statements caused a multitude of their supporters to disseminate this, and they've now conspired with one another to commit offenses. Their false claims are that Haitians are a danger to Springfield. Now, many in Springfield face actual harm because of what they've said. So no, the Haitians aren't causing the problems in Springfield. Do you know who caused the problems in Springfield? It's definitely not the Haitians at all. It's not 15, 20,000 people being flown into a small city and just taking everything over. No, the problem is Trump. Trump said a bad thing about the Haitians, and now the city's breaking down because of Trump, and definitely not the immigrants. Trump and Vance caused a massive disruption to the community, and the city deserved better. So he should be charged with disrupting public services and more. They impaired the police. They led to the interruption of school transportation. They've led to the shutdown and the evacuation of multiple hospitals, which never, ever came from Trump at all. He used telecommunications devices to disseminate his opinions. This is how people, fortunately in this country, we don't have this happening yet. I mean, it's happening now, but I think this is probably going to be laughed out of existence by the court. I hope so. I could be wrong. But if these people get total control of the country, this is what you'll see for everybody everywhere. Okay. Your boy here, yours truly, will be getting one of these at some point. You used a live stream to disseminate something bad about Zelensky. You're a Russian asset, right? This is a real thing. They want Trump and Vance literally arrested for saying things about national policy. Vance have also made threats about, there have been bomb threats that they're not responsible for. So that's a causation problem. Trump initiated and circulated warnings. And this just goes on and on. So we'll just fast forward through it so we can see what the other charges are. Harassing, intimidation, and abuse. Trump knowingly made and used telecommunications in order to do this. They made a bunch of posts on X, and they did the post through cell phones. We got it. And so that's the affidavit. So the Haitian Bridge Alliance, this guy, Guerlin Joseph, co-founder and executive director, is now like an FBI special agent writing an affidavit. You know, we read those criminal complaints here, right? FBI special agent, training and experience based on so on and so forth, whatever. This guy's just representing Haitians. And now Haitians are charging President Trump with crimes in America. So the rest of this document looks like, okay, so these are just some other, looks like some, oh, that was the prior. So this is when another judge actually granted this in a different, in Cleveland Municipal, allowed this person to file charges, and apparently it moved forward. So Trump gets charged with multiple crimes in Ohio. We're, of course, going to keep our eye on this. Apparently the Haitians are very upset about these photos, and their community is just reeling from the illegal memes. So ultimately, I expect this to not go anywhere too substantive, but it could. All a judge needs to do apparently is approve it and send this up the chain in Ohio. So we're going to keep our eye on it. We're going to see if J.D. Vance and Trump get arrested because of their illegal cat memes. But this is another operation by lefties to take out their political opponent and use lawfare to do it. So we're going to continue to cover this, my friends. Thank you so much for subscribing on this one, and we'll see you back here with another update on this case. Now, let's carry on because we've got a lot more business to attend to here. And now we're turning our attention to what's happening in the January 6th case. Judge Chutkan now approving election interference from Jack Smith. We've talked here previously about how Jack Smith wants to submit a pseudo-special counsel report, a 180-page opening brief that's going to smear Trump with a bunch of evidence that they can't talk about during trial before the election. So they're just going to write it on paper and submit it to the public docket. And Chutkan is going to allow it to happen, even though it is quadruple the length of a regular motion filing from the government. But here is what Chutkan is enabling. It's a 6-pager out of the District of Columbia. You can see Judge Chutkan turn this one around very quickly. Tanya Chutkan, the J6 case. Jack Smith wants to submit his major opening brief. Jack Smith is completely illegitimate, not even a real prosecutor. And he's still allowed to move forward in this matter. So here is what Chutkan said. All right, Trump, guess what? As we predicted yesterday, the court will grant Jack Smith's request to file an oversized brief, a 180-pager, on pending immunity issues. Now, the judge says, when I got this case back from the Supreme Court, they directed this court, she bought hook, line, and sinker, what Jack told her. The Supreme Court directed this court to conduct a close and fact-specific analysis of this indictment's interrelated and extensive allegations. So Chutkan is saying, well, the Supreme Court, you want a fact-based analysis like you might have in an evidentiary hearing? I'll give you a fact-based analysis. We'll just do it on paper. How about that? It anticipated that the analysis would require briefing on how to characterize numerous alleged interactions with a wide variety of state officials and private people, and supplementing other allegations with content, form, and context not contained in the indictment itself. So we need to dig into this. And so what Chutkan says, in light of Jack Smith's second draft, the superseding indictment, which he tried to fix all of the prior immunity problems in his first indictment, we unsealed that in August, and the court ordered the parties to submit briefs and factual proffers that would inform that analysis. Then on September 21st, just a few days ago, the government requested permission to exceed the 45-page limit. They called it a big, fat, comprehensive brief that included a detailed factual proffer. They're going to add in a bunch of exhibits as well. They say it's going to be of great assistance to this court in creating that robust record. But remember, Trump's defense doesn't even have all the discovery yet from this new indictment. This new indictment is a different indictment. It's the same charges, but they're alleging basically a different set of facts because they deleted a bunch of the immune stuff from the original indictment. So Trump is saying, okay, you just filed this August 27th. It's now 1 month later. They have not completed their discovery, so they don't get to just make their initial filing our initial receipt of this evidence. First time Trump's going to get it is when it lands on the public docket. That feels like it's a due process problem. Now, for the second time this week, says Judge Chutkan, she's getting a little snippy here, says Trump urges reconsideration of the current pretrial schedule. In a brief intended to respond to a separate issue and without fully filing a motion to that effect. And I think she's referencing Trump's omnibus that we read yesterday, saying that he's mashed too many issues in together. So Trump's argument against the limit expansion of the pages comprises a single statement, she didn't like that it was mashed in there, that the government's request would quadruple the standard page limits in the district, as we read. Now, the rest of the 9-page opposition rehashes his old positions on immunity, and that none of this should begin until he files a motion to dismiss several months from now. So Trump's people are right. They're saying, well, if we're immune, then we don't need to go into this evidentiary process. In fact, going into the evidentiary process is a violation of immunity. That's what being immune gives you, is immunity from that process. So the court has already addressed the scheduling objections of Trump before. And having the government file an opening brief reflects the remand's unusual procedural posture, where the court has been directed to accept submissions and make specific determinations about the nature of the allegations, which the government modified. And I think that's a little bit too on the nose. I don't think that the Supreme Court said that they had to accept 180-page pseudo-Special counsel reports. That's not what the Supreme Court said. It said it didn't need to get to the bottom of it, but they could do that via an evidentiary hearing where you have the right to cross-examine the evidence, not respond via writing in motion practice. The length and the breadth of the government's reply reflects the uniquely challenging and fact-bound nature of this. And so the brief's atypical sequence, so she knows, okay, the judge is even admitting herself, this is atypical to do this first. The order of operations is wrong here. And the size is wrong here. It's outside of the norm. But they do serve the efficient resolution of immunity issues at the earliest stage possible. So I know that I'm really not supposed to do this, but I'm going to do it. That is reason enough to grant Jack's motion. But for completeness, however, I'll continue. The court will address Trump's new and sundry arguments about the pretrial schedule, none of which articulates a cognizable prejudice. So Trump, you're not going to be harmed at all by this big 180-pager. First, he says that the government aims to proffer their untested and biased views to the court and the public as though they're conclusive, right? It's just a big report. They're trying to try Trump in a paper filing in a court docket, not in trial, which is when all the evidence is supposed to come out. But the judge says, no, allowing a brief from the government is not contrary to the law and procedure and custom. It's simply how litigation works. Each side presents arguments and proffers evidence on disputed issues. Here, whether Trump's conduct involved official acts and whether it receives immunity. And so we're here. Indeed, Trump appears to want the same approach. In fact, she went back and she dug out something where Trump's defense attorney said, Your Honor, well, how can we address this? Trump's lawyer said, well, we can make submissions. We can make necessary proffers. And said, if we're going to go the proffer route, we're certainly going to put in a record, a number of documents which we believe are incredibly exculpatory. Which is just interesting because Trump's defense is not the prosecution, right? Trump doesn't have the burden of proof here. It's their burden of proof, and they're trying to present all of the evidence for the first time in a public filing. Trump doesn't even have the discovery yet, right? So it's not a proffer. It's not very narrow, specific motion practice. It's the full case. A party's factual proffer does not conclusively establish anything. It just provides evidence for the judicial fact finder to consider. It's such a sham. Now, as the court explained, allowing the government to submit an opening brief does not deny the defense an opportunity to address this. Says you can still address the issues. You're just doing it in a different sequence. There's nothing violative of due process by a government filing an opening brief and you getting a look at their arguments and a chance to respond. It's just a matter of who goes first, says the judge. And it's not that. It's much bigger than that. Its immunity prevents you from going into all of that. You have to decide the immunity stuff. And Trump's motion to dismiss is going to be making that argument along with a bunch of other arguments. And you don't have to get into immunity. You don't have to get into the evidence of the case because it's going to be disposed of through other motions to dismiss. But she's going to open everything up and then consider the motions to dismiss later. In response, Trump's counsel reframed the problem as an election dispute, saying, Your Honor, it's incredibly unfair that they're able to put into the public record all of this at a very sensitive time in our nation's history, in the middle of an election. But Trump's concern with the political consequences does not bear on the pretrial schedule. She said, this is what Judge Chutkan said, what needs to happen before or shouldn't happen before the election is not relevant here. Don't even care about the election at all. Second, Trump asserts that there are dispositive threshold legal issues that they can and should be resolved first, as we just said, including the absolute nature of immunity. Also about Mike Pence, because they brought up Mike Pence in the new indictment and he's the vice president. And the lawfulness of Jack Smith's structure, right? Jack Smith has already been dismissed by Judge Cannon. So why do we need to go into an entire 180-page discussion of the evidence if Jack Smith is not even legitimate? We don't. There is admittedly little for this court to resolve on that last question. As defense counsel acknowledges, their position runs contrary to binding D.C. Circuit precedent, but might be raised to preserve this issue for appeal. And so they're not going to win on the dismissal, but they'll file it. Judge Chutkan will deny it. They'll take it up on appeal. They'll deny it. They'll take that up on appeal to SCOTUS. Now, but again, if it's dismissed, we don't need to get into the evidence of the case. Now, as for the other two threshold questions, Chutkan says, both necessarily require the very briefing that the court has ordered. In ascertaining whether any charged conduct qualifies for immunity, absolute or otherwise, the court must first determine that it qualifies as official. So similarly, the immunity determination for allegations about Pence also requires input. So I'm going to do what you want me to do in these filings. So trying to resolve those issues before the immunity briefing would put the court before the horse. The incoherence of the defense's demand, wow, so she's getting agitated here, to do so is revealed by his accusations that the current briefing schedule is highly expedited, and the Supreme Court has already criticized this. In reality, she says, the Supreme Court has not criticized me. No, the schedule reflects the court's best judgment about how to comply efficiently with SCOTUS. Yeah, right. They're not doing anything efficiently with SCOTUS. They're just trying to rush this before the election, obviously. And third, Trump argues that the immunity briefing is particularly improper before we even finish discovery. Never mind that his own proposed schedule contemplated the same sequence, they say. Still, recognizing Trump's interest in obtaining lawful discovery that could bear his own arguments, the court has front-loaded discovery already. The court will rule on the pending motions to give them adequate time to review any additional discovery and incorporate it into his immunity briefing. So you can do that one later. And fourth, Trump contends that the briefing schedule would be unfair given the order about gagging Trump. Because if Jack Smith submits his big, fat, disgusting motion, Trump can't respond because he's gagged by Chutkan. But the former contention mischaracterizes the court's order and even so identifies potential political consequences rather than legal prejudice. The court does not accept this. The court is only talking about sensitive materials, and it rejects Trump's assertion that publicly docketing non-sensitive materials would not impact or taint the jury pool. Moreover, and once again, Trump offers no reason why his own proposal would be any different. He's going to get the same materials. And lastly, Trump also claims that the government's brief violates the DOJ policy and that this would be tantamount to basically a special counsel report. He argues the brief would run afoul of the Justice Manual, which prohibits federal prosecutors from selecting the time in order to effect an election. But she says, I don't care. I don't run the Justice Department. I don't address those claims. How are those violations going to cause you legal prejudice? I don't care about the election. And I don't have any jurisdiction over the DOJ anyways. So talk to the DOJ if you're mad about them. So for these reasons, Judge Chutkan is going to allow Jack Smith, who's not even a legitimate prosecutor, according to Judge Eileen Cannon, to file a 180-page disgusting smear opening memo brief against Trump. And we're expecting that this week. We're going to read through most of the full thing when it drops. And so thank you for subscribing and joining us as we do. This is about what we expected. And because this trial cannot happen before the election, they've got no other options. So we'll go through it. The media is going to go absolutely bananas on it once it comes out. They're going to call it the special counsel report. And we'll be here to do the job of combating their dishonesty and Jack Smith's total corruption in the creation of this fake dossier. And we'll be covering it. So thanks for subscribing, my friends. We'll see you back here. Now, we're not done yet. We've got some other updates on Ryan Routh, the Trump assassin, with some new stuff fresh out of the oven on the day. Trump's second assassin, Ryan Routh, is not going anywhere. The order of detention has now been dropped from the judge out of the Southern District of Florida. And what we'll see inside is a nice explanation of what the judge thinks is the basis for keeping him in custody, talking about the weight of the evidence, the circumstances of the offense, his prior criminal record, and more. And so let's zoom in on it. You can see this is Ryan Wesley Routh, the second Trump assassin out of Florida. Government wants him in custody. We read through the detention filing, and we see here that the judge is finding that by clear and convincing evidence, no condition or combinations of conditions of release, so no ankle monitors, no home detention, nothing, are reasonably going to assure the safety of the community or people. And no other release condition will make him come back to court. Now, here is what the judge found. The weight of the evidence against the defendant is strong, subject to a lengthy period of incarceration if he's convicted. He's got prior criminal records, he's got a history of violence and use of weapons, and he has a lack of significant community ties to this district because he's from North Carolina. Here's what the judge found. They say Ryan Routh, Trump's assassin, is charged by a criminal complaint with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, illegal, and the gun had an obliterated serial number, which we looked at yesterday. And we were also asking questions about the tape and trying to identify the tape. And when we were here yesterday, we were looking for a small piece of tape, right? A single piece of tape somewhere affixed to the gun, like a marker or something. But after the show on Locals, it was pointed out to us that we had a huge, just rolls of tape wrapped around the scope, attaching it to the rifle because apparently it's not even mounted appropriately. And that looks like tape, that looks like tape, that looks like tape. So it's not a single piece of tape. It's like a roll of electrical tape that was mounting the gun there. And then the thesis was that there was a single fingerprint under the tape. And so it was just bad phrasing in the detention order based on what we saw. Now, this is also theoretically some sort of tape around the rifle, but this was curious because the serial number was also obliterated. And is this even functional was part of the question that we were asking, right? Does this give you functional sighting when you've got a scope that's duct taped or electrical taped onto the top of the weapon? But here, if convicted of a charge on this, the defendant faces a maximum of 5 years in prison. Now, additionally, the government has proffered evidence concerning the offense of attempted assassination and assault on a major presidential candidate. Okay, so those have not been charged yet, but you can expect those to come later, the judge says. Even though the government has not charged that yet, it seems pretty serious. And so those might be coming, and so we cannot release him on that basis. Now, the weight of the evidence against this Routh is strong. The following evidence was established by the criminal complaint and the affidavit supporting the complaint by the feds, the government's written and oral proffer, and exhibits admitted without objection, and testimony of an FBI special agent. They tell us on September 15, former President Trump was golfing at International Golf Club, Trump Hotel, Trump International. At approximately 1:30 p.m., Trump was on the 5th hole, advancing towards the 6th hole, when a Secret Service agent conducted a proactive protective security sweep of the exterior fence line along the 6th hole. While conducting the sweep, the agent spotted a partially obscured face of a man in the exterior brush along the fence line near the 6th hole putting green. The agent also observed the barrel of a rifle protruding from the fence aimed directly at him. Agent fired his weapon several times towards the rifle, then announced over his radio that shots had been fired. Shortly after the agent fired his weapon, a civilian driving on Summit Boulevard observed a man run across the road away from Trump International, get into a Nissan Xterra, flee the area at a high rate of speed. Witness made eye contact with the man before he fled. Witness took photographs of the Nissan Xterra, wrote down all but the last digit of the license plate number, immediately reported these observations to law enforcement. At 2:15, Martin County stopped a Nissan Xterra traveling northbound I-95, matching the license plate description reported by the witness. Law enforcement transported the witness from the Martin County location, positively identified the defendant. The witness positively ID'd him as the same guy. So you've got one witness, you've got a latent fingerprint on the interior of the tape, probably, and we've got a search of the Nissan Xterra. We've got 6 cell phones, 2 additional license plates, passport, handwritten list of dates and venues in August, September, October of 2024, where Trump had appeared or was expected to appear. And furthermore, one of the cell phones contained a Google search of how to travel from Palm Beach to Mexico. Law enforcement also searched the exterior fence line in the area where the agent had seen the rifle. Law enforcement found, recovered, and among other items, got an SKS semi-automatic 7.62 .39 caliber rifle. It was loaded with a total of 11 rounds and one in the chamber. The serial number on the rifle was obliterated. Based on the make model, law enforcement believes the rifle had traveled in interstate commerce. Additionally, a scope was attached to the rifle with electrical tape. Upon examining the rifle for fingerprints, law enforcement found a fingerprint on the electrical tape that made a preliminary match to the defendant. Okay, that's a much better description from the judge than the useless prosecutors. Now, following news coverage of the defendant's arrest, another civilian witness contacted law enforcement to report that defendant had dropped off a box at the witness's residence several months prior. The box contained, among other things, ammunition, 4 phones, various handwritten letters, including one addressed to the world. The letter stated, among other things, "This was an assassination attempt on Trump, but I'm so sorry I failed you." And did he intend to fail? Was this a contingency letter? Did he have a letter in case of success? And where is that letter? The letter offered $150K to anyone who could complete the job. Now, the court takes judicial notice of the pretrial services report, which is sort of an independent agency that does their own interview with him and what they are able to investigate about his background. They say he's got a lengthy criminal history with over 100 arrests, including convictions for multiple weapons charges and conviction for possession of a weapon of mass destruction. The pretrial services report also shows that he recently traveled to Ukraine multiple times and to Taiwan. So he's a flight risk, he's a repeat offender, multiple weapons charges, can't let him out. Based on the evidence, the court finds there are no conditions or combinations of conditions that would reasonably assure the safety of the community. Numerous factors involved here: current charges, the nature of additional charges that might come, the weight of the evidence, his prior criminal history, including a possession of a weapon of mass destruction, and his recent travel to foreign countries. And so, the defendant is remanded to the custody of the Attorney General or to the AG's designated representative. And he must be afforded reasonable opportunity to meet with his attorney and deliver him for future proceedings, signed by the magistrate judge. And so he's not getting out. We see this is what the rifle looked like. So the fingerprint was apparently inside this electrical tape, and it's just like so grotesque, it's hard to even fathom that this is functional. But all right, that's what we saw. We also saw that they were trying to get him out of custody by saying and introducing this exhibit. They said he's a crime fighter and he's a super citizen. Here's the story. Crime fighting pays, police organization honors the super citizen. Guess who the super citizen is? This guy right here. See that? Ryan Routh isn't a superhero. He's just another guy who lives in Greensboro, Fisher Park area with a family he tries to keep safe. But what he did do is he fought and chased a suspected rapist and later assisted police with their investigation, making him a super citizen, if not a superhero. And so he was awarded law enforcement Oscar by the Greensboro chapter of the Union of the Police Association. A statue shaped like an Academy Award rests on his mantle. He is the Citizen of the Year. He says, well, I just would have done the same thing as anybody would have done in a situation like that. When these types of incidents happen, most of what you do is just impulse. You're just reacting. I was happy to be at the right place at the right time. Interesting. So that apparently wasn't good enough to get him out of custody. Just a simple man trying to fight crime on the streets and assassinate political opponents. Now, his son's not doing so well either today. And you may have seen this one that dropped. Andy NGO has been really digging in on this one. And let's start here with this tweet. The son of Trump's second assassin has now been arrested, just like his father, but for different charges. Andy No, aka Andy NGO, got some photographs of this guy. Here's what he looks like. Daily Mail said he was arrested. Son of the alleged would-be assassin says his dad hates Trump, like all reasonable people, but that he's never owned a gun and wouldn't do anything bat-s crazy. When I first heard about it, he said, was my father shot or injured? He says he hates Trump like everybody does, but he would never shoot him. But this guy has now been arrested, and the presumption of innocence applies to him too, just like it does to Ryan Routh. But there's some interesting things happening here. You see, this also came out. He was arrested for CP charges, and he worked on Taylor Swift's tour crew. Apparently, this is what Pericles shares. Another day at the office. Special thanks to my climber friend Jocelyn for the photo of me in the element, 80-ish foot in the air, making it happen. I'll see you all in Atlanta. And he was responding to this saying, I was in Tampa at the Buccaneer Stadium, maybe doing some work for the Taylor Swift concert to create the venue or something. So interesting things about the kid. But he has now been arrested and charged with crimes. You see here, arrest warrant issued. This is coming out of the Middle District of North Carolina. You are commanded by criminal complaint to appear in court for these two counts: receipt of CP and possession of CP. Bad charges. And what you'll notice here is the criminal complaint is quite short. Says, the complaint in this case, Garrett L. Fu is a special agent from the FBI. Here's what he has discovered. Says, I, Garrett Fu, with the FBI, do hereby depose and say the following. This affidavit is made in support of a criminal complaint against Oran Routh, saying that he possessed CP against the law. Say, my responsibilities include a bunch of things. I'm a security fraud investigator. Since becoming a special agent, I've gotten extensive training related to criminal investigations. I've completed crimes against children. I investigate child exploitation and more. On September 21st, 2024, the FBI searched Routh's residence in Greensboro, North Carolina, and his person in connection with an investigation unrelated to child exploitation. It's probably Daddy just got arrested. So they raided the house. They got his computers. Investigators seized multiple electronic devices. On September 22nd, I obtained a warrant to search certain devices, including those identified in this affidavit for child exploitation material. Now, Routh's residence is a second floor, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom dwelling. The rental contract lists Routh as the sole occupant, was signed in early August of this year. On September 22nd, the residence's property manager advised that Routh was the only person who applied to live there, the only person known to live there. Routh's prior residence was also in Guilford County, and his license lists an address there. Items observed within the primary bedroom of the residence identify it as Routh's room. In it were several prescription medicine bottles with Routh's name on it, and Oran was written on a Starbucks bag on the bedside dresser. So, it's his room. Investigators recovered multiple electronic devices from the room, including a Galaxy Note 9 labeled manufactured in Korea that was located in a laptop bag. When powered on, a message appears on device 1 offering a reward if it is returned to its owner, which is interesting. An email address that belongs to Routh is provided as a contact in a message. The email address is comprised of Routh's first initial and last name, so it's his phone. Now, a review of the SD card located in device 1 revealed that it contains hundreds of CP files. These files include videos from a known CP series created outside the state of North Carolina. Videos from the series depict minors. It's awful, just terrible. 8 to 10 years, female, terrible. Investigators also recovered a Samsung Galaxy Note from Routh's person on device number 2. A preliminary review of device 2 also revealed CP. In a folder titled Download, investigators observed a video depicting an adult female engaging with another minor 6 to 8 years old. Sick! On device number 2, investigators also located chats from a messaging application that, based on my training and experience, is commonly used by individuals to distribute and receive the CP. In the July 2024 chat, an individual advertised cloud storage links for sale. The user of device 2 asked for a preview of the content. On July 23, the individual sent the user of the device 2 emails, 2 video files, which is just bad stuff. So based on the conclusion set forth above, I submit there is probable cause to believe that he possessed CP, and it certainly sounds like, yeah, definitely did. Garrett L. Fu, Federal Bureau of Investigation, investigating some of the most disgusting stuff that is even in existence. So, criminal complaint filed against Ryan Routh, the son of the Trump assassin. And here was more from the docket. He is now going to be scheduled for a detention hearing set for October 1st, 3 o'clock. And we'll see if he is released from custody when that comes up. So it also looks like he's got a public defender, couldn't afford an attorney, filed a financial affidavit. And he may be in custody for quite some time. But Ryan Routh now joins his father in federal custody. And there were some interesting connections here. This one was an interesting one. How people close to shooters get arrested for CP. This one came out from Shadow of Ezra, a good follow on X. It says, how many coincidences are you allowed to believe in here? Okay, Ryan Routh's son just got arrested for CP. Guess who else got arrested for CP? The brother of the Las Vegas shooter that we know nothing about in another operation. So, interesting things out there, my friends. We're going to be covering this case and more, the son's case, the father's case, the Trump's assassinations. We'll be here to get into it. We hope you join us as we do. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining along, and we'll see you back here on the next one. All right, my friends. Well, we covered 4 good stories today, 4 good segments. If you're just joining us, we kicked off the day with Trump's newest criminal charges brought in from the Haitians. They want him arrested immediately for illegal cat memes. Judge Chutkan came out, says Jack Smith can submit his 180-page special counsel motion. Ryan Routh is not getting out of custody, will be held in detention pending trial, and his son is going to be joining him, now arrested on CP charges. And so now, my friends, let us hear from you. Let's see what you say about all of this. It is a beautiful Tuesday and an amazing Taco Tuesday on top of that. And I saw some great donos in the house that have come in. And K-Bean is clipping for us. What's up, K-Bean? Carrie B clipping for us on the day. And let's see what's going on. A Donut's clipping for us also. Hey, here's one that came in today. Here's a couple more that came in. Yeah, this one. Here. Look at this. Who is this person? What is the name of this cat? Oh, I can't remember the name of this cat. Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry. Is that it? Tom and Jerry. Be positive. Stay happy. Don't let the negativity of drama of the world get you down. Smile. Have a terrific day. It's Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry. That's it. Thank you, guys. Assistance from the chat. Happy Taco Tuesday, my friends. What's up? K-Rad just became a supporter. So if you're a supporter on YouTube, grab the members only stream from this morning. We had a great members only stream this morning. We love our Membo streams. Welcome aboard, K-Rat. And we'll see you tomorrow on our members only morning stream. Hey, Voice says, all the info I've been tracing on elections and how I feel 2020 actually happened has hit the House hearings. I'm showing the full hearing tonight on Off-Label tonight. Some representatives are listening. So check that out. Off-Label podcast, Voice of the People is hosting. And it's going to be a great stream, no doubt about it. Thanks, Voice. Hey, Beach Life is here. What's up? Beach Life in the house. Beach Life bringing in 5 membos. Swede for DJT. Welcome. So High, I Touch the Sky in the house. Cheryl Lau, Alyssa Lear, and Maximum gifted membos courtesy of Beach Life. Thank you, Beach Life, for being a membo and bringing in 5 new membos. Hey, Elf is in the house. Elf is bringing in 10 membos. Thank you, Elf. Roy Marshall is here. Q Essence. Quid Pro Joe, Barbara Joe, John O, Conspiracies here, C. Souter, Blue Star, Nunya Business is here, and Leslie Enoch, gifted membos, courtesy of Elf in the house. Thank you, Elf, and welcome aboard, new membos. Swede for DJT says 10 months. You ignored me at 8 and 9. MAGA from Sweden. Well, it wasn't intentional, but we really wanted to make the 10th month that much more special. See how much more special it is for us now since we got it on the record officially? Thank you, Swede. And we have a new baby, so that's cool too. A newborn plus 1 month. Hey, Sheila Poo says, under what statute, what law was supposedly violated? Well, they listed them all in there. It was like the RCP, the whatever all those numbers were. I skipped over them, but they were local statutes that I think if you zoomed in on each particular statute, you'd say this the elements of the offense are not even met here. It's not good. But thank you, Sheila. Good to see you. Hey, MAGA Hat Stay says that group's website is based on lies, like the Haitian whipping type stuff. Esther, what's up? Esther Shugart says, Trump released a new MAGA hats that is hot rod orange. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. I haven't seen those yet. Thank you, Esther. Are you getting one? You should. Jankna Bach says, okay, so the press accuses a Haitian rebel leader of cannibalism, but Haitian illegals eating cats and dogs is a bridge too far. Okay. Jack in a Box over on Rumble has just committed another felony. So enjoy that one. Knox says, happy Tuesday, y'all. Remember when Obama talked about eating dog as a child? Obama ate dog. I believe he did. Yeah. Hey, Jay Dizzle says, signed by these not prosecutors. Yeah, it was. They're not prosecutors. They're just lawyers at some law firm. Crash says, karma's a bee when it comes back to bite you in the booty. All karma requires is one incidence of pets being harmed or abused in Springfield. These kooks have unleashed a regiment of MAGA detectives about to uncover a smorgasbord of delectable delicacies. Karma is coming for them. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a strong opinion about the cats and dogs thing, but now since they're so upset about it, it feels like they're probably eating cats and dogs. So why are you so upset about it? You just laugh it off if it's not a real thing. Just laugh, just mock, just relax, just take it easy. But when you're like, I'm going to sue you for that, right? Everybody's like, whoa, okay, so you really did it. Okay. So like, what's for dinner? What's for dinner tonight? Spot, your pup? What's going on? Hey, Pookie's mom says, call the meme Smith stat. Rob is rapping. Was that the eat the cats? Eat the cats. That one? Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good song. Hey, John Libby says, a couple of weeks ago, Tim Pool talked about this and showed a video from a year ago that did show it had to be a cat on a grill. I saw that too, says Jennifer. Are they telling me? Like, are they saying that that no immigrant ate a single animal in Springfield, Ohio? Come on. Somebody did at least one, so that means it's plausible. Knox says, Fauci blamed the Haitians for the transmission of AIDS to the U.S. in the 1980s. Yeah, so blame Fauci, their science lover, who they have a romantic relationship with in their heads every night. This old guy says, whoo boy, I can see how this Ohio law, I use that word reservedly, could create a whole lot of criminal affidavits, again reservedly, for the court to deal with and for us to laugh at. I may move to Ohio and start an affidavit generation LLC. That's a great idea. You could use AI, create forms for this. Just create indictment affidavit forms. Oh, hello, Rob. What would you like to do today? I don't know. I want to indict somebody. Who? I don't know. And somebody in Ohio, just pick somebody. Well, anybody. Doesn't even have to be in Ohio. Trump is not in Ohio, so you could indict like Jocelyn Benson, for example. I don't know. She said some things that offend us here and file an indictment. It would go nowhere, but you could just file indictments all the time. In fact, we did a whole impeachment party when they were doing that with Trump. Remember when we wrote our own impeachment document? It would be a lot of fun to just start charging people with crimes. I would never actually want to be a prosecutor physically because it's such a disgusting thing to do. But it would be fun to just charge people with crimes and kind of like role play as a prosecutor from a criminal defense attorney perspective. Just move to Ohio and prosecute anybody you want. Wow, that's a great idea, this old guy. Now my gears are moving. Hey, Patriot Rob says, okay, two things. One, after all these years, Trump is finally being charged with a mean tweet. It's true. It's true. illegal memes. And secondly, would those be felonies or misdemeanors? I think she's charging them as felonies, is what they are, I think. Well, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to commit another felony. Somebody in Ohio is going to indict me. You ready for this one? It's going to be worth it. Don't snack on me. I'm going to jail. Sheila the Pooh. What's up, Sheila the Pooh? Bringing in 5 new membos. Cindy Jensen coming in. We got Jeremy Day, Michelle Bender. What's up? Aaron's in the house, and not Eminem's mom also got gifted a membo courtesy of Sheila Pooh. A million hugs to you. Thank you, Sheila. Says, so did I miss, was there a decision on making that brief sealed? The Chutkan brief, I think we'll see 2. I think we'll see a publicly filed document with a bunch of redactions in there, and we'll see a sealed document. So there will definitely be a public filing that we'll read, but it will not have everything in there. There'll be stuff under seal. Thomas Wright says, can Trump's lawyers force Jack to inform what documents of the 13 million have been removed after the presidential immunity rulings? I don't know that they can force them to do that, but there's a battle over this right now. So there is an active battle over the scope of the discovery. So Trump's defense is saying that discovery should be much broader than it is currently. Jack is saying it's only limited to a very narrow team. So I think Trump actually wants more, not less, to answer that question. It's an ongoing battle. James Butler, what's up, James? Says, when Trump is back in office, he should authorize the DOJ to investigate and prosecute these crooked judges. Is there any recourse for judicial misconduct against judges like Chutkan other than impeaching them? Not really. Where's SCOTUS? SCOTUS made their decision, and Chutkan is still snubbing them, right? Chutkan is still playing hardball, like being ornery and difficult. SCOTUS was pretty clear on how this should work, and she's just doing however she sees fit, essentially. So, yeah, you could impeach her, but other than that, she's pretty well ensconced in there, unfortunately. Mrs. Hayes, what's up? 13 months as a membo. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Good to see you, Mrs. Hayes. I had that song stuck in my head for like a week. Now it's going to be back in there. Cheryl, what's up? Says, since Jack Smith isn't a real boy, he's not. With government protection, can he be sued or criminally charged for election interference or other legal shenanigans later? It's a great question. He certainly could be sued. I think his defense would be that he had qualified immunity and he would be protected from that immunity. Now, Cannon might say differently, but the DC Circuit would say that he would say he had precedent that supported his role based on the Court of Appeals in the DC Circuit. So he was doing it in good faith and he thought he had lawful power. So I think they'd say that he was immune from any recourse. But it's still worth a claim, no doubt about it. Hey, what's up? Ollie's in the house bringing in new membos. Ollie's bringing in James Barber. What's up, James? Go Ho Shane is here. Rokin X2, Curtis Coy, and Jonathan Conklin, gifted membos. Welcome aboard, Jonathan Conklin, in the house. And John McGarvey is clipping this for us. What's up, John? Thanks for clipping for us today. This old guy says, good. We won't have to worry the wokes about separating the father from the son. They can hang out together for the rest of daddy's natural life. Yeah, in prison together, reunited at last. Lenny Malley says, will you please smash that like button, please? Thank you, Lenny. Maury, what's up? Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to Maury. Membo for 11 months, almost 1 full year. Happy almost anniversary, Maury, and happy birthday to you. Hopefully you're doing something amazing today. Celebrating you. We're glad you're here. Hey, Ike's Girl says, if I were Trump, harassment suits would be done. Yeah, I mean, he files a lot of them, but they're against government people and government prosecutors, and what's he going to do? 200 Watt Studio says, I'm not voting Trump because when I missed my bus to school, he did nothing for me. I can't believe it was so, that's a tragedy. Yeah, Trump's a monstrous person. Yeah. I also was looking for a parking spot the other day and I couldn't find it. It's because of MAGA. It's their fault. Rob, what's up? Says Harris, Biden, and MSN should all be charged for inciting assassination attempts on Trump and all Democrats who had thoughts of hate against Trump and laughed about Trump being X'd their national security threats, criminal charges for all of them. Hey, Maynor, 16 months as a membo, almost 2 babies, says local news WCSSH reported that pets are missing here. Felony. Another felony. Thanks for that, Maynor. Patriot Rob says, Robert, sir, they are going to come in and arrest you. Right? Meow. They're coming for me, right? Meow. Oh, no. I think that's also a felony too, Patriot Rob. You're in big trouble, buddy boy. Hey, Greg Lear. What's up? Greg Lear says the state of California has very specific requirements for notarization to include a statement from the notary that they're signing the notary under penalty of perjury. This notary doesn't even come close to being in compliance. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if it's different in Ohio. From Greg Lear. Signed off on that affidavit. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's a good question. What's the difference between California and Ohio? Patriot Rob says, but since he's acting as an illegitimate special counsel, wouldn't that strip him of his qualified immunity because he knows he's being fraudulent? Well, his argument would be that he's relying on the D.C. Circuit and the Court of Appeals there. So he thinks that Judge Cannon is out of alignment with the actual precedent. So he's acting with some legality, with some cover, essentially, at the moment. Woodchip Bill says, whatever Jack wants, Jack gets, okay? Whatever arguments the defense uses, they just fall on deaf ears. Jack gets everything, no matter how they twist the laws around to validate their actions. Trump's filings just become a waste of paper. I was actually wondering if Chutkan even read it. I mean, she did. She addressed it all, but it was like, man, she responded to that one fast. Esther Shugart says, America's great is its cultural diversity, one of the most diverse worldwide. No one will give up their culture for her utopian vision, which is a better Marxist world that erases all diversity. Yeah, they're actually not diverse at all. They want everybody to think exactly like them. They just want you to be a different color and have different genital pronouns and stuff. But that's it. It's not like substantive difference. They just want you to think exactly like Democrats, but just on the surface, just be a little bit different. And then they feel like that's true diversity, but it's not. They exclude, white men from everything. And then they create, like, even the prosecution of Diddy's like 4 or 5 women. You're like, okay, where's the diversity in that group if they're really diverse people? You get the point. They want you to think like them. And if you don't, you're excommunicado. Flash River says, Rob, in the leave a comment section, I posted a video of a Haiti community and what they eat to survive. To say the least, I was brokenhearted and shocked. So to say it mildly, eating cats or dogs, ducks, geese, I don't know. It's rather plausible that it happens in Springfield. Well, we're going to see you in prison, Flash. Thanks for that. Digitalis says, in cases of Chutkan et al. Flaunting clear orders, why can't SCOTUS issue an order to show cause like any other court and initiate contempt proceedings? Well, see, that's the thing is I don't think she's flaunting their clear orders. Like it's pretty clear. It's like when somebody, oh, you want me to do that thing for you? I'm going to do it extra thingy for you. And you're going to really like it. Can you add some more? It's like, hey, you want some more Parmesan cheese on your salad? Yeah. You want some more? Yeah, a little bit more. I'm going to give you all the Parmesan you ever wanted. Just, Parmesan cheese, nonstop, which is not a problem because it's good. But this is not a salad with cheese, delicious cheese. Okay, this is a court, and that's exactly what she's doing. Chutkan is just, going, oh, you want some facts developed? How about I develop them in a public docket so you can all read it? Which is kind of what SCOTUS said you have to develop a factual record. So she's like, see, I'm doing it. Now it's out of form, but she doesn't care because she's Judge Chutkan. Hey, 200 Watt Studio says, where's PETA? Shouldn't they be in Ohio saving the cats, saving the dogs? Esther, what's up, Esther, says, sorry for the word salad. I got it. I think we got it. You came in loud and clear, Esther. It was a great comment. Thanks for saying that. Thanks for the dono and for being here. This one says, Springfield needs naked PETA protests for the pets. That's one way to do it. I think we've seen enough naked people from the left on the streets forever. They have all those weird events where they come out with naked old men with their, genitals in everybody's face, urinating on each other. It's a sick party. But, my friends, those were the great comments that came in over on Locals and on YouTube. Let's see who's joining us on X before we wrap it up and go on over to Locals for our members only after party. It's going to be a great stream over there. A great after party. Yeah, what's up, Joe Miller? Yeah, Joe Miller shared this one. Yeah, shout out to Joe Miller over there. What's up, B. Torns over in the house? We've got Dancing Kitties. Gabriel says, can the DOJ make this into a case of federal voter intimidation? The DOJ, I'm sure, could. They won't. But Based in Bias says, I pity the foo. What's up? Oh, here's another felony. Stormy Steel Fate committed another felony right here. That's a nice one. Yeah, multiple felonies committed today. What's up, Terry? What's up, Trump Republican? What's up, Maynor? Shared this one. At least 16 cats in this Bangor neighborhood have disappeared. Missing cat, Frankie Blue Eyes. Rest in peace. What's up, Jake Guptill? We got Maynors over on X, Azok's over there, Jacob's over there, Tracy's over there. We got some good comments over on X. It's good to see everybody over there on X. What a beautiful day. Art Pollard. What's up, Art? Art shared this one. Says, press the like button or your cat's going to Springfield. Do it or else. I like this. 9 months as a membo. Very aggressive. Very appropriate. Hit the like button or your cat's going to get door dashed right now. Thank you, Art Pollard. 9 months as a membo. That's a new baby, too. Welcome aboard, Art. Thanks for that one. Hey, this old guy says Manchin refused to endorse Kamala because of her stance on the Senate filibuster, called it a danger to democracy. Yeah, she wants to pass abortion through the Senate by ending the filibuster, and nobody likes that idea either. She's basically in free fall right now. She's also, we talked about this morning for our membos, racing to the Arizona border to go address the border. She can't figure out what she stands for because she stands for nothing. 200 Watt Studio says, save the puppies by freeing the puppies. Save the puppies by freeing the puppies. We want our pets safe and sound. And so, okay, my beautiful friends, that is going to be it for us on the day. We are going to leave it there. We're going over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com. YouTube members, if you want to join us, please do that. But grab the Telegram link over in the community tab section on YouTube. Scroll down, grab the Telegram link. The members only after party is there on Telegram. But we want to thank our amazing mods today. We had John McGarvey clipping for us, playing hookies in the chat. We got Carrie B this morning, Kay Bean in the house. Of course, the great Donut Mind Me, who is modding the fort down for us, clipping away like mad. Thank you to our amazing mods. But we are going to leave it there. We are going to go over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We would love to see you there. But if we don't, we are going to be back here tomorrow to get into this again. It's going to be a Wednesday, and there's going to be some good stuff to attend to. And in order to do that properly, we're going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it a beautiful night, my friends. Sleep very well. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.